Over 3 weeks of protest and unrest followed the murder of unarmed African-American George Floyd by a police officer in the United States. Floyd's death incited peaceful Black Lives Matter protests as well as riots across multiple states within the U.S. and abroad. Among the 8 panelists discussing the social and political impact of the movement was Jumaane Williams. Williams is the deputy leader of the New York City Council and was representing the 45th Council District in Brooklyn. He says the open support showed for the movement was a huge contrast to support in the past.
Yes, George Floyd might have been the catalyst for this particular one, but anyone who focuses solely on policing and police violence might be missing the forest for the trees. And so it's first of all been amazing to see people all across the globe saying Black Lives Matter, when just a few years ago people were hesitant to even say that. And I always want to make sure we keep in mind that many of the people out in the streets have been in their houses for the past 2-3 months, dealing with a pandemic that disproportionately affected Black and Brown communities because of systemic inequities. And then on top of that, they were dealing with Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed in her house, Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot by some vigilantes, I guess, while he was jogging, and then George Floyd. Too much. And quite frankly, we in this country have been using policing to address so many issues that if we addressed, we actually wouldn't need police force. So we always say, what does public safety look like?
Williams, while explaining the real message behind the movement, says he believes it became necessary to say Black Lives Matter at a time where, based on statistics, it appeared like Black lives were unimportant.
It's interesting. Some people still want to respond to that with all lives matter, which makes no sense at all and is actually disrespectful. Everybody knows that all lives matter. We didn't say that all lives didn't matter. We were just saying right now we need to focus on Black lives. Someone had a great statement maybe a couple of years ago that if you went to a event or a function where they were talking about, say, breast cancer or protests or prostate cancer, you wouldn't respond and say all cancer matters. You would focus on what is actually going on. And right now, when you look at every statistic, Black people in the country are at the bottom of that strata. And I believe they are there because the systems are set up to have them there.
The aim of last night's program was to edify the audiences on what the movement means, its origin and evolution, how it affects Caribbean nationals living abroad. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.